Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. You lucky people. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad Live. Smash the like button. Check out my poll, The Batman 2, Batman Arkham, or Mr. Freeze. How would you build your own DC live action universe? What would be your first movie? My one would be Justice League. Let me know what you would do. That's your challenge for tonight. Rewind the Times. Hi, Mick. Good evening to you, Rewind the Times. Hope you're doing okay. It is 8 o'clock here in Cyprus. It's 6 p.m. over in the UK. I don't know what time it is where you are, but welcome to the live chat. I hope you enjoyed today's DCEU Daily. I'll be back tomorrow with more DCEU Daily, updating you with what's going on in the world. Rewind the Times, 1 p.m. here. Oh, not too much of a time difference then. It's not as bad as I thought it might be. But a very good afternoon to you, Rewind the Times. Please let me know, what kind of DC universe would you build? What would you be your first movie? Let me know. So I said I would start with Justice League. A very good evening to you. Anyway. Talk to me. Let me know what else you want to talk about. But we are building a DC live action universe. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you would do. May the 18th is coming. The big announcements are coming from Warner Brothers Discovery at their upfront event. And I can tell you, it's going to break Twitter. Hunter Iggy, Movies TV Mad. There are articles on Google saying that Warner Brothers Discovery about they want to sell their video game studios and IPs to other video game video game companies. Well, I did explain this the other day, but I will explain it to you, Hunter Iggy. Basically, this rumor came about last year with AT&T. It wasn't true then, and it isn't true now. Rewind the Times, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. Rewind the Times, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. I'd start off. Awesome. Sounds good to me. Trill J, sup, Mick. Good evening, Trill J. How are you? Hope you're okay. Welcome to the chat tonight. We are building our own DC live action universe. I want to know what movie you would start with. How would you do it? How would you format it? Let me know. Considering the studio don't know how to build their own DC live action universe, I say we do it right here and right now tonight. The floor is yours. Let me know what you would do. Yes, Warner Discovery are not selling their computer game division. That is absolute nonsense. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's the case. I think there's a lot of money to be made in gaming. There's more to be made in gaming than there is in movies at the moment. Gaming is the big thing. So I don't think they'll be selling it off. Whatever they make by selling it off, they'll make more by making awesome games. Trill J, I would start with Batman Arkham to introduce not only Batman's villains, but some of the other DC hero villains with nods and Easter eggs. Sounds good to me, Trill J. I want Batman Arkham to be the Batman sequel, so that would be very, very awesome. That would be a good start. Would you have an arc in your franchise? Would it have a continuing strand? Let me know. It's worked for the MCU. Reno Jack, top of the morning, sir. I hope you're well. I smashed a big vote for Batman Arkham. Yes, I suspect that is going to be a very popular thing. If Reeves does give us a Batman Arkham movie, he's certainly doing an Arkham HBO Max series, so that kind of makes sense, and I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's the Arkham series that I'm more excited about, if I'm honest. Arkham is untapped live-action potential. And what do we think about Netflix? They're cancelling stuff they're cancelling stuff all the time. They're in financial trouble. I never thought the first victim of the streaming war would be Netflix, but it's starting to make sense. Trill J, my franchise wouldn't necessarily have an arc, but it would revolve around the relationship of Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. I like it. Alex, this is such a hard poll for me to choose. Well, no one's going to sue you. Choose what you want. I'd be tapping Batman Arkham, but Mr. Freeze. I mean, if I got either of them, I'd be happy. I wouldn't be disappointed with either of them because either of them are pretty awesome and a lot of fun. So yes, I've predicted before that Netflix will be bankrupt within 6 months. This is very interesting as well. They've just cancelled the Harry and Meghan animated stuff. They're cancelling this all the time. I'm hearing rumours that they've gone to David Zaslav to ask him if he'll help fund Rebel Moon. This is very interesting. Rebel Moon could end up in Warner Brothers' hands. Interesting. One day I'm going to come here with a clear throat. One day. One day it's going to happen. Alex, I don't think Reeves will do Freeze. I think he's spoken about it. I think he's interested in Freeze because it's way too fantastical. No, I don't agree with that point of view. For such a grounded world, he's set up in the first movie, but I love Mr. Freeze. That would be amazing. Well, listen, he was asked about Mr. Freeze during the marketing of the Batman, and he said there are ways to do it, and he'd be very, very interested in doing it. I don't think we should get carried away with this grounded world thing and kind of say, oh, he wouldn't do this or he wouldn't do that. Mr. Freeze actually isn't that fantastical. It's basically a guy who tries to save his life, tries something on himself to save his wife, and it goes wrong. There's nothing out there. It's not UFO based. It's not alien based. Rewind the times, I'd start off with lesser known DC characters and each one of them reached out to a bigger character from the Justice League and then give them their own movie to lead to a Justice League movie. Trilogy, I would have Bruce and Clark meet at a fair, have Clark know he's Batman because of his super hearing, and then recruit Bruce to help him solve some cases and eventually create the Justice League. Sounds good. Reno Jack, it also wouldn't surprise me if what he said about doing Mr. Freeze is smokescreen and he does a villain that hasn't even been discussed yet. I'm honestly down for whatever he does. Well, he could do anything. He could be one he hasn't discussed, but I'm not going to rule out anything. Rewind the times. In Batman 66, George Saunders was a great Mr. Freeze. He was. They did do the Rogues Gallery pretty well for 66, all those years ago. You could have a situation within a DC live-action universe where you get the younger characters, the smaller characters looking up to the Justice League and being desperate to join the Justice League and being desperate to become superheroes. That's another way of doing it. They kind of did that with Young Justice as well. Trilogy, Zack Snyder would be my fight filmer and Sam Raimi would be my co-writer. There are rumours coming in all the time about Sam Raimi directing a Superman film, by the way. I wouldn't listen to that smoke and mirrors thing about him doing Spider-Man 4. I did post my pitch for Spider-Man 4, a Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4. Who wants to hear my pitch on a Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4? If you do, get in the comments. Zack Snyder is a wonderful choreographer. He not only did the choreography for BVS and MIS, he did it for the first Wonder Woman film. That's why it was so much better than in Wonder Woman 84. Trilogy, let's hear it. Right, are you ready for this, everyone? Let's clear my throat. Right, we go back. This is my Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4. So we go back to Spider-Man No Way Home. So Doctor Strange creates the portal for Toby's Peter and Andy's Peter to go back. But guess what? Andy's Peter ends up in Toby's world with Toby. So what happens is Andrew Garfield's Peter ends up living with MJ, played by Kirsten Dunst, and Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. They live together as a family. And this universe has now got 2 Spider-Men. So this film would star Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Kirsten Dunst, and Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn as well. Everything's going well, but Andy's Peter is feeling out of place. He doesn't feel like he's been accepted or belongs. Toby's Peter and Kirsten's MJ are trying to make him feel part of their family, but it's difficult when they're together or they want a romantic moment. He feels like he's in the way. But then he gets an invite to prison from Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn puts it to him that he can help him get back to his world. Many years ago at Oscorp, they created a multiversal damper, a machine that could travel through the multiverse, but it was a failed experiment. So he tells him if he breaks him out, he can help him get back home. Andy's Peter refuses outright, as you would expect him to. Then what happens is Andy's Peter, as Spider-Man, fails to save a life. This person dies. It reminds him of the woman that he loved dying and him failing to save her. He wallows in self-pity and depression, goes back to prison and agrees to help Norman Osborn. He breaks Norman Osborn out of prison, but it was all a trap. It was all a lie. And what happens is he already had the multiversal machine working, and he's trapped Andy's Peter in a dark mirror universe. He is trapped. Now there's only one Spider-Man to deal with, and Green Goblin is about to suck in everyone from the multiverse and make the multiverse one Earth, one world. Everything is converging on each other. Can Andy's Peter get back from the mirror universe? Can Toby's Peter handle this on his own? Whatever will happen next. That's my pitch for a Spider-Man 4 directed by you-know-who, whose name I just forgot. I just drew a blank. Sam Raimi. So that's my pitch. So where are we? Rewind the times. The Court of Owls would be cool. It would be. Trill J. Mick, this is an amazing pitch. Thank you. Do you know how long it took me to come up with that pitch? 2 minutes. It didn't get a response at all on Twitter. Everyone ignores me anyway, so it's okay. But I thought it'd be interesting to actually have Andy and Toby together. And that's a good way of doing it, continuing from No Way Home. That means people have got a linking to No Way Home. I wouldn't use Tom Holland. Tom Holland will be wherever he is. But I think having Andy and Peter together would be very, very interesting. Trill J, that's actually a $1 billion film. Well, thank you, Trill J. Obviously never going to happen. But yeah, I just thought it would be fun to have Andy and Toby together. And I think it would work. I don't know if I would kill off Kirsten Dunst's MJ in that film to make it a bit more tragic, make her be the person that he fails to save. And then obviously that will be a problem within the relationship between Toby's Peter and Andy's Peter. But that's the type of story that I would do. You want to do something compelling and you want to leave this movie to be continued so you can do a 5 and a 6. And maybe in the 6, we can reunite the 3 Spider-Men again. And maybe within these 3 movies, we can introduce Miles Morales as well. I mean, why Sony haven't done a live-action Miles yet is beyond me. Reno Jack, great pitch, sir. Thank you very much. This is Movies TV Mad Live. I'm Mick, your host with the most. We have 6 viewers. 3 likes. Smash the like button, please. It helps me get noticed on the algorithm. The Batman 2. That's my poll. Batman Arkham, 55%. Mr. Freeze, 45%. We have 11 votes on that poll. Thank you very much. The floor is yours. You can talk about whatever you want within reason. And we can get this conversation flowing. Trill J, imagine 2 Spider-Man swinging from New York to something in the way. Yeah, exactly. It's a concept maybe we've had before, but yeah, it'd be interesting. Alex, what would you love to see in a Batman Arkham story? Well, I'd like to see Batman trapped in there, being captured by the villains and being tortured mentally and psychologically by the villains. I think that would be awesome. I would like that to go on for the entire movie. Nothing else but them in fucking Arkham, you know, torturing his mind for a whole 2.5 hours. It would be amazing. Alex, I've already done that. If you're going to do an Arkham story, it must be in Arkham for the entirety of the movie. It must be self-contained in Arkham, and you must have Batman in Arkham. It will be a risky thing to do, but I think it will be interesting as well psychologically. With the psychological underpinning messing with his mind. They could drug him. He could start hallucinating. There's a lot of stuff they could do. Trill J, Alex, lots of brutal fight scenes and Batman searching for the main villain. Yeah, things like that. A bit like the Arkham games. All you have to do is look at the Arkham games to actually make a good Arkham movie. It isn't actually that difficult. And it would make a lot of money. More than the Batman did. Carl Williams, will Arkham show up in Batman 2 or the HBO Max show? Definitely in the HBO Max show because it's called Arkham. But I expect Arkham to show up prominently in the sequel as well. Alex, Arkham Asylum is perfect. Yeah, it's very popular because of the games. It's very, very popular. So if they want to make money, that's where I would go for the sequel. And it gives him the excuse to use multiple villains without being accused of overcrowding the movie as well. So everybody wins. Jules J, I always wondered why they never just copy and pasted the worlds of the games with good CGI in the movies. Yes, this is the problem, isn't it? Bobcat. Hey, Mickey. Good evening, Bobcat. This is one of the most bestest subscribers. And he's come in. He used to come in all the time. This is Bobcat. Good evening to you, Bobcat. Today, here on Movies TV Mad Live, Bobcat, we are creating our own DC live-action universe. What would the first movie be? What would the arc be? What would you do? What would your first movie be? Well, who would you focus on? I think I know what you would do. I'd love to know your take. Bobcat, man, I got spoiled on Doctor Strange 2. I mean, listen, I know what happens in that entire movie. I know what happens in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I know every single beat from all 3 acts of the Flash movie. That's the problem with being on the internet. It's unavoidable. So, yeah, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I've already made a pitch, Bobcat, for my Spider-Man 4 directed by Sam Raimi. Next week, look out for James Gunn announcing his next Suicide Squad spin-off. Reno Jack, I could see a Batman Arkham being similar to Bruce Lee Game of Death, where Batman would have to face different foes to get through different sections of the asylum. Yes, you could have the fights, but you could also have him being tortured at times, being drugged. Imagine if they drug him up and he's got to search for the villains under the influence of a hallucinogen. Imagine that, how awesome that would be. Alex, have you seen Dark Knight Returns animated? What did you think? Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. The graphic novel's great, and the 2-part animated movie's great. Bruce Timm, all over again. Awesome. Trill J, Superman, if tomorrow would be my second movie, I would have him as a simple good man who just wants to do the right thing. He would be a bit of a nerd with Lois and a stud as Superman, which is exactly what the character is. So I like that, Trill J. Kyle Williams, James Gunn will announce it next week. Maybe. Look out for it. Look out for it. I've got a feeling, been hearing some things. Don't sue me if it doesn't happen, but I am hearing that next week is the week that he announces something. He's just about to finish Guardians as well, so makes sense. Reno Jack, the Reeves verse needs a solid Batman tripping on drug sequence for sure. He's just seeing things. He's seeing things that are not there. He's in this dark place called Arkham Asylum. And he's looking for these villains and he's hallucinating. If you think the first film was a horror movie, try doing that with an Arkham movie. Now that's really going to fuck people up. I'll tell you what was a good movie starring Robert Downey Jr. and Halle Berry. Gothika. Gothika was a great movie. Didn't do very well, but it was one of the first movies Rob did after he came out of prison. Bobcat, I do the first phase in this order: Superman, Batman, Superman 2, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, then Justice League. Makes sense. It's what they should have done in the first place. Hashling me. Yo, Mike, good evening. Hashling me. Trill J, Reno Jack, yeah, definitely. But we're going to need at least 11 fight scenes in the movie because he's in Arkham. Yeah, you don't want to have, too many, so many fight scenes that people get bored of them. I can tell you now that I don't get so many viewers on these lives, it's because we had a lot of bot accounts watching these lives. It's actually beginning to make sense. Trill J, check it out, Mick. 11, because people love action when it comes to Batman, and it would give me rewatch value. Well, yes, the fights, if they were choreographed properly, absolutely. I'm actually glad we've lost the bots. It's actually good. Reno Jack, weed out the snakes and find out who your real supporters are, sir. Well, I already know that. It's you guys in here right now, although there's 3 or 4 of you, but that's okay. We can still keep the chat going. It's fine. I did weed them out by ignoring them, by not paying any attention to the toxicity in the chat, and that's what you have to do. And that's why I continue to do it. And that's why I ignore you guys if you mention a certain troll and a bot, because I don't want to give them the attention. Imagine how many fake accounts were in here. Children, and some of them would be Batman intimidating the prisoners in the shadows. Yeah, that would be interesting. I personally wouldn't want Batman to be too overly advantageous, for him to have too much of confidence or an advantage. As we get to the second act, I want him to be under the cosh from the villains and then rise up in the third act and defeat them. So there's going to have to be a stage where he's not this intimidating figure, that actually it's the villains intimidating him for a little while. Because if you're going to put Batman in that environment, he has to be losing at some point. Children, I'd have one fight scene where Batman moves and shots go off, then it stops, then he moves again, and shots go off in the shadows. That would be very good. I'd like that. Bobcat, second phase. I do this for movies: Batman 2, Superman 3, Wonder Woman 2, Suicide Squad, Shazam, and then Justice League 2. Yes, a very good slate. A very good first and second phase. This is exactly what they should have done in the first place. But oh no. And look where we are now. Who saw Ezra Miller's Instagram? He was running around the desert. He's crazy. Ezra Miller, he crazy boy. He not there. He not there in the head. These Hollywood nut jobs are on another level. Reno Jack, hopefully Zaslav dropped him in the desert and said, try to find your way back. Yeah, like James Bond did in Quantum of Solace to that villain and left him a little bucket of oil. Do you remember that? Trilogy, the beginning of the movie would be him bringing Joker into Arkham to the guitar of Something in the Way without the vocals, just the guitar and horn to give a raw feel that Batman is a rock star agent. Sounds good. But then you have to figure out a way, contrive a way for him to be trapped in there. Because that's how I would like it. I want him to be trapped in there. I want the inmates to take over Arkham. I don't just want him hunting them. I want them to be hunting him. Trilogy, my Bruce Wayne would be a gothic stud as Batman and a playboy as Bruce, but gothic and brooding when in private. Sounds good. I just can't wait to own the Batman. Hopefully we can own the digital copy this month. Carl Williams, is there any news on Zatanna and Wonder Twins? Nope. No updates at the moment, Kyle. They announce things and you don't hear about anything again. Bobcat, for second phase HBO Max shows, I do Green Arrow. Yup, that's good. And Black Canary, Catwoman, The Amazons, Lobo, and one called Atlantis about Aquaman and his side characters. Sounds good. Trilogy, Selina will also be in Arkham because Bruce puts her there. Loads of buff criminals will be hunting Batman because of the top rogues. Gallery told them to. Sounds good, yeah. I definitely think Selina's going to go really dark villain. A little bit villainous. She's going to be tempted to take over her old daddy's criminal outfit, I think, in the second movie. It's not going to be plain sailing for Selina and Bruce. It's going to be interesting. It's the second movie. Bit of a cliffhanger as well. You know, an Empire Strikes Back, Wrath of Khan kind of thing. But I'm liking all these pitches. I like the pitches. I like the slates you're all putting together. It's really cool. A better job than they're doing at WB. So at the moment, more people want a Mr. Freeze movie in Batman 2 rather than Batman Arkham. Yeah, Mr. Freeze is a very popular pick, I think. I've heard lots of people saying that. Trilogy, the movie will be like a video game, 5 to 6 rogues, gallery members, each a boss fight. Basically, in the movie, each arc will be about 40 minutes at least, a 2-hour, 30-minute movie. Harry Potterhead, sir, when I saw that full-length trailer for Avatar 2, I got goosebumps and teary-eyed due to excitement and nostalgia. Well, this is what I'm talking about, Harry Pothead. And this is why Shazam Fury of the Gods has got no chance. Even delaying it by 5 days, it may bump up the opening a little bit, but people are still going to be excited about Avatar 2. Who's going to go and watch Shazam Fury of the Gods instead of Avatar 2? This is the issue. They should have put Shazam Fury of the Gods where they've got super pets. That's where Shazam Fury of the Gods should be. Totally wrong. I look forward to seeing that trailer. I'd rather see a crystal clear copy of it, though. Harry Potter! Harry Potter comes to Hogwarts. Harry Potter, 100% agree, sir. Can they push it up to November? Look, they can do anything they like. No one's stopping them, but it's crazy. They can't compete with Avatar 2. The DC franchise doesn't even work without any competition, let alone with competition. They're insane. Why they did this with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom in the first place, I don't know. That had a more of a chance than Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I'm sorry. It's not going to work. And everyone going on about Rachel Zegler, let's not forget that Spielberg's musical she was in was a flop as well. So she ain't boosting. She ain't going to boost anyone, especially with all her SJW tweets anyway. So that film is in trouble. Totally the wrong time. Put it out as a summer blockbuster. You know, Super Pets, animation, around Christmas time, it makes more sense, doesn't it? It ain't competing with Avatar either. You can have it around the Avatar time, but kids will go and see that. That's the difference. But they're useless people. They're tanking their own franchise. And we'll see what Zaslav and Discovery are planning to do about all of this on May the 18th. I think Twitter will break. Children, Barbara would be mean and brooding. I don't know who Barbara is, would be mean and brooding. She'll break bones and have an electric glove on her suit. She'll have lots of fighting in the rain. I'll make her more intelligent than a nerd, really. She'll be gothic. Oh, Barbara Gordon, you mean? Sounds good, Trill J. You're getting that imagination, oiling that imagination. That's what I like to see. I do run a little part-time free writing school out here in Cyprus. I think she needs to be gothic. So nobody's seen Gothica then. That's such a good film. Bobcat, for third phase movies, I'd do Batman 3, The Atom. Yeah, that's good. Wonder Woman, Batgirl, Vixen, Justice League, The Death of Superman. Yes, makes more sense than what they actually did. Justice League Dark and then Justice League 4. Makes sense. That's good, Bobcat. I like it. I need to find out what's going on in the snooker. Any snooker fans in the house? Trill J, I would have Barbara and Bruce have had a sort of romantic relationship, but they are cool, sort of. She'll be stronger because of it and not take any BS. Reno Jack, another underutilized aspect of Batman in films is his ability as an escape artist. Yeah, that's a good point. Would love to see him face insurmountable odds and escape a trap of some kind. Yeah, you make a great point because he's clever. It's actually utilizing his intelligence. Hopefully, Matt does something about that fact that you just mentioned in the sequel. He did a lot of elements from the comics in the first film. Of course, you can't do them all. Hopefully, he thinks about that in the sequel, because you do make a very good point there. That's a great aspect of Batman. Batman is a tactician, the ultimate tactician. Literally, he's Jack Bauer or Jason Bourne in a Batman costume. He's a survivor. But he does suffer. He should always suffer a bit as well. You don't want him to find things too easy, no matter how great he is. Reno Jack. Absolutely, Mick. And Reeves has already done a good job to establish that his take on Batman is a great thinker. Yeah, he has actually, yeah. Very intelligent. Very intelligent. Jim Gordon's quite intelligent as well in the Batman, which I liked. Alfred is a great tactician as well. Although it wasn't too smart opening Bruce's mail, but there you go. Was that a plot hole? Him opening a letter that said only to be opened by Bruce Wayne? I don't know. You know, people are going to start coming in as I'm about to say goodbye later on. You wait. Bobcat, for the third phase shows I do The Secret Six, Teen Titans, Blue Beetle, The Birds of Prey, and Arkham Show. Green Lantern Corps, Batwoman, but actually good. Yeah, Batwoman. Batwoman's a brilliant character in the early comics. They just chose the woke kind of LGBTQ element of it. But you can have her as a gay woman. There's not a problem. But let's make it a great film or show. Apparently, Batwoman fans are getting very toxic. Oh, and guess who I upset today? Pagey. Who knows Pagey? He was very upset because I made a joke. Oh, I said, what's Pagey going to do now? There's no Arrowverse anymore. Reno Jack, did anybody else notice that several times in the Batman, Gordon's response rhymed after Batman read off a riddle in the card? I didn't notice that, actually. I have to check that out again. Children, yeah, it was a good idea. Bruce is Alfred's son, and the father has to protect his son. Bruce is a grown man, so Alfred lets him be Batman, but he still has a father's love. That's why he opened it. That's a good explanation. I like it, yeah. I just think when I watched the film, I thought, it did say specifically for Bruce to open it. But you're right, it's the overprotective element. So that's a good point, yeah. This is Movies TV Mad Live. I'm Mick, your host with the most. We have 7 viewers. We have 4 likes. Like the post if you've just come in and you haven't liked it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you have subscribed, please make sure you're still subscribed. Check out my poll, The Batman 2, Batman Arkham, 46%. Mr. Freeze, 54%. Bobcat. Plus, he might have been worried he was making a mistake like Thomas Wayne did. Maybe. That's a good point. I've still got that dirty old theory that it was Alfred that killed the Waynes under orders from someone. John, good evening, John. I was wondering where you were. John, do you think the Flash movie will be dark like Zack Snyder's Justice League or like Justice League 2017? I think it will be some way in the middle, John. Not too dark, not too light. I think it will have dark elements in it, considering it's a horror movie director doing it as well. But yeah, it will be in the middle of that. Not too light, not too dark. Trill J. And also, if you're Alfred, a killer literally wrote to Batman, so who else would be sending things to Bruce? Put 1 and 2 together. That's a good point. Didn't think of that. That's a very good point. I mean, I'm intrigued what kind of movie The Flash is. I know the spoilers, but there's a difference between knowing the spoilers and seeing a movie. John, sorry I was late. I was having my dinner. Fair enough. A man's got to eat, right? And have we all heard? It's been confirmed that Warner Brothers Discovery will not replace Henry Cavill as Superman. So let's see what happens. He's not happy with the treatment of Henry Cavill, apparently. So May the 18th can't come soon enough. Children, I think The Flash will have Snyderverse elements, but push away from it in the end. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, say, coming out next weekend, this weekend. So that's going to make a bunch of money. Reno Jack, I'd be very open to seeing a reinvented version of Superman, maybe Golden Age, but still played by Cavill. It'll be interesting if we see this Golden Age movie. I think if you're going to start again, a Golden Age movie from the very beginning would be an excellent thing. If they did it properly, it would be awesome. It could really work. You could even set it up as a Golden Age set in the modern, the modern era. You could still do that. I mean, it's something I've been talking about for a very long time, just going back to the beginning of Action Comics. If in doubt, go back to the source material, always. Reno Jack, I think Golden Age Superman, I picture something illustrated by Alex Ross, very powerful. Yeah, Golden Age is where it all began. It's amazing. If they could do what the rumors are saying they're attempting to do and they execute it well, it could be something really, really special. So fingers crossed, see what happens there. Children, I just know we needed that Superman sequel years ago. We did, and they decided to go with BVS, and they made a mistake. They underserved their Superman character. They lost faith in him. It's a very sad situation. Smash the like button. Say that again. Smash the like button, everyone, please. Please subscribe. Every little helps. Android 118XX. Good evening, Android. I would start the DC Universe with a prequel HBO Max miniseries of Jor-El and Thomas Wayne, eventually leading up to them communicating when Jor-El was looking for a planet for his son, Kal-El. So that's a very interesting thing to do. They did a similar thing in Smallville where they said that Jor-El, as a young man, came to Earth to check out the place. Or he wasn't checking out the place to see if his son could live there. He was literally just, he kind of was sent away from Krypton for a little while and came to Earth. And it was a really great story. He falls in love with Lana Lang's grandmother or something. So yeah, it's a good idea, Android. Reno Jack, Mick, I haven't watched The Walking Dead since season 5, but I see the actress who played Carol just walked away from a spin-off. Do you know much about this? Yes, she's quit because she's too tired and she doesn't want to get into another series. I don't know why she didn't tell them this before they announced the series. It's weird. Some people attacking Norman Reedus and having a go at him. The people involved with the show have had a go at the fans for doing that. I haven't seen The Walking Dead for many, many years since Andy Lincoln left. I know Andy very well, great guy. And I wasn't very interested. Without his character, I wasn't going to stay and watch. They've still promised us a movie with his character in. Well, wait and see. Android 180XX, do you have any scoops yet? No, nothing I'm willing to release right now. John, do you think the MCU is going to turn into a female-led franchise in the future? I think this is the way they're going, my friend, yes. And there's no question about that. It is the times we live in. This is where we are. Hollywood are a very extreme left people, and they're obsessed with their politics, and this is what they believe, and they're going to keep on pushing this. So it will be a female-led franchise and a female-dominated franchise in the end. Manuel Mayo, the Batman should be the beginning of a new connected universe. After that, a Superman solo movie. After the Batman 2 and Superman 2, have them cross over for a world's finest movie. Sounds great to me, Manuel Mayo. That actually sounds good. True J, MCU as the fandom menace call it. Yes, that's what it is. It's becoming the MCU, yeah. But it doesn't mean it has to be bad because it's dominated by women. You just write it properly. But if you're going to keep on making SJW statements as well as dominating it with women, you know, the most people who go and watch these movies are men. Lots of women love it, lots of girls love it, but mostly it's men. More men than women went to see Captain Marvel. Ironic after Brie Larson's kind of statements about white men in their 30s and 50s, you know. So yes, it is the MCU. That's what it's turning into. And there's no going back now. This is where our industry is, because this is where they are politically. They must have to fill out an application form before crossing the gates of Hollywood that they're extreme left. Trill J, Manreal. In my opinion, nah, just put Robin Cavill in the same universe and leave it at that. No Justice League. Just them two who helps one another from time to time. It's an idea, I'll give you that. Reno Jack, I definitely fell off of The Walking Dead because of the direction. After the first few seasons, I cringed so hard over the Daryl storyline with the child abuse books. I think I must have stopped watching it by then. Reno Jack, and I referred to season 4 as the walking around because it seemed that's all they did. Yeah, everyone was making fun of them. What they were doing was they were finding ways to waste screen time, and they were blatantly doing it. Now, I think they tried to copy Lost, where they used to go out on an excursion, but Lost actually did something. Lost had a lot of intrigue. And one of the problems, I said it, I don't know about the Walking Dead comics, but I said one of the problems with the Walking Dead was they didn't try and delve into the reason and the science behind what happened with the zombies becoming zombies. What was going on there? It could have been anything. It could have been aliens. It could have been a pathogen. They really never delved into it. They did in the mini-series, but then they didn't do it again. Because we've lost, because it's a post-apocalyptic type of thing. They both are. You know, and I think we've lost. They delved into the mysteries of the island, which made it a more interesting show. Mary Mayo, having female superheroes is great, but pushing an agenda is just another political nonsense and takes away the entertainment factor. Exactly. Trill J, sorry you all, but I just don't want the best Batman in the DCEU. No need to get caught up with them. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Android 118XX really want Hulk movie. Why is it taking so long? Hulk should have a trilogy at least. You have many Spider-Man movies and many Wolverine movies. It should be the same for Hulk. He's Marvel's top 3 character. I agree. It's ridiculous. But even worse now, Kevin Feige's got this beta Hulk handing over the keys to the kingdom to She-Hulk in the She-Hulk Disney Plus series. So I don't see any chance of Universal actually doing one. It's a shame because at least they tried with the 2 Hulk movies, right? Whatever you think of them. And yeah, he's one of the top tier fictional characters of all time. And not to give him his own movies and not do Planet Hulk and all the other great stuff. There's Red Hulk. There's lots of great stuff they could tap into. They are creatively bankrupt. I'm not surprised. Manuel Mayo, Wonder Woman is the perfect example of women empowerment. I agree, without need of a false feminist agenda. Exactly. John, are you looking forward to Captain America 4? John, slightly, not much, because he's not a Captain America for me. First of all, Anthony Mackie has no screen presence. They chose the wrong guy. They chose the wrong black guy to play that character. The guy bores me. He's actually got more personality in real life than he does as that character. So it's a shame. I miss Steve Rogers, and I think most of us do, if we're honest. Trill J, Hulk is literally a joke. Never got with Natasha and has a make out with Cat Man. MCU. Yep. Reno Jack, they should have stuck with Ed Norton as Hulk. They should have. But he fell out with Kevin Feige because Kevin Feige doesn't like people having their own ideas. Ed is a big Hulk fan. He knows more about the Hulk than Kevin Feige. They should have stuck with him. But once you start speaking up in Hollywood, when you're a number or an employee, they don't like it. They'll start spreading lies about you and they'll remove you like they've tried to do with Henry Cavill. Reno Jack, they should have stuck with Ed. Oh, yeah. Just said that and absolutely. The treatment of the Hulk since Infinity War has been disgusting because that's when he was planning from that moment to bring in She-Hulk. Android 118XX, the Incredible Hulk movie is what I'll cherish forever. It was really good. Same with the 2003 version. I like them. I think they're both great. I think they both have merit. And it's better than what we've had with this MCU Hulk. Even though Ed Norton's Hulk is the MCU Hulk. Mario MCU turned Hulk into a complete juvenile joke. Compare Hulk 2008 to Hulk 2019 and you will see the disrespect of the Hulk. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's despicable. It's typical Feige. John, I only enjoyed the MCU Hulk in the first Avengers movie. He was all right in the first Avengers movie, wasn't he? And then they decided to fuck him over. In fact, the fucking of the Hulk over started in Avengers 2, the second Avengers. John, I've already read that. This is Movies TV Mad Live. Smash the like button. We have 8 viewers. We have a poll. Batman Arkham, 38%. Mr. Free, 62%. The question I'm asking, which I should have asked already, is the Batman 2. What would you rather have as villains? I think Hulk was pretty awesome. I think Hulk was probably the best thing about the first Avengers movie. Yes, things got a bit political, I'm afraid. Very sad. Android 118, XX. Have you seen the Hulk versus Wolverine movie, animated movie? I have. They make a live action of that and introduce us to a new Hulk and actor. It would be amazing because that would work. Do you know what would work if they actually used Hugh Jackman's Wolverine? Reno Jack, I'm not the biggest MCU watcher, but all I recall of the Hulk is him smashing Loki around, nothing else memorable. Manuel Mayo, You think Spider-Man is still the face of Marvel? That's what they're saying. I think definitely Doctor Strange is the Tony Stark now that crosses over in all the other movies. I think that's what they're going to do with him. But Spider-Man, yes, they all were saying it during No Way Home. And look at the money Spider-Man's made. It's up to Sony, though. John, why did Edward Norton leave the MCU? He fell out with Kevin Feige. He didn't like the direction it was going in. Ed is a really die-hard Hulk fan. He knows the comics. And he knew the way they were going was wrong. There was lots of infighting during that movie. And they moved away from Ed Norton. It was a mistake. And everything that Ed Norton said about Feige has come to be true when we look at his treatment of the Incredible Hulk. Android 118, XX. I remember when they released the first Avengers movie, all people could talk about on Twitter was the Hulk. Exactly. People love Hulk. People love Hulk smash. It works. His little feud with Thor, when he goes like that, hilarious. It's great. It was a great beginning. Look where we are now. Yeah, the MCU still works, but you know, I think phase 1 and 2 and even 3 were better than what we got now. Actually, Joss Whedon made 2 really good Avengers movies. And I think if he was allowed to make his own Justice League, it would have been good. Emmanuel Mayo, making Spider-Man into Iron Man's sidekick is also another disrespect of another legendary character. Yes, they got rid of Uncle Ben for this very reason, plus the other woke reasons they were doing it for. Please smash the like button. Welcome to the chat. If you've just entered the chat, check out my poll. If you'd rather a Batman Arkham movie than Mr. Freeze for a Batman 2, you need to start tapping the like button. John, I'm worried about the new Blade movie. Why is that? Can you expand on that, John? Why you're worried about it? The problem with Blade is, Blade needs to be a dark, bloody, R-rated movie. And they're not going to do that. So it'll be interesting. The actor they've picked is perfect. We will see. Manry Mayo, Spider-Man was the first Marvel character to rival the popularity of Batman and Superman. He should never be Iron Man's Robin. He shouldn't. He shouldn't. It was a mistake, but this is how Feige works, and most of the fans accepted it. Some people were noticing and didn't like what he was doing. Some people noticed the kind of disgusting treatment he imparted to Uncle Ben. John, because it won't be rated R, yes, because it's Disney. That's the problem with Disney. And I think these kind of problems are going to come in with Deadpool as well. Reno Jack, Wesley Snipes' Blade is definitive, only being remade due to creative bankruptcy. Well, they clearly want to introduce Blade to the MCU. I would have used Wesley Snipes personally. Android 118 XX in the Incredible Hulk movie, they were already hinting the leader was going to be the next villain for the sequel, but the movie couldn't go far. Yeah, the leader, yeah, I know what you mean, that guy who was taking like the stuff. Yeah, you're right. They were doing the leader. The leader is one of my favorite villains in Marvel Comics. And for them not to tap into the leader, even now, is a huge mistake. Reno Jack, Stephen Dolph in the original Blade film, sensational. Yes, Stephen Dolph. He was in Backbeat as well, I think. That biopic about the Beatles. Manry Mayo, I still think the Fantastic Four and X-Men are more interesting than the Avengers. I think they are in the comics, that's for sure. Whether they can, and obviously Bryan Singer's first two X-Men movies were certainly better than the Avengers movies. Let's see what they do with it. I don't think anyone's going to ever be able to do what Singer did in those first two movies. The first X-Men was one of the cheapest made CBMs of all time, and it made such a huge profit. And it was really the early days of comic book movies. I think the first X-Men may have been the first of the 21st century. Andrew at 118XX, what is your favourite Hulk moment ever from any version of the Hulk live action? Well, if you go back to the Bill Bixby, Kenneth Johnson show with Lou Ferrigno, there's a great moment. There's an episode with two Hulks in it. So there's this guy, this old guy, who turns into a version of his Hulk. And you actually see Lou Ferrigno and this other version of the Hulk fighting together. It's one of my favourite moments of all time, and it actually still works. Reno Jack, got to head into work. Have a great rest of your Sunday, Mick, and all. Thank you very much, Reno Jack. Fist bump. Thank you for coming in. John, I really enjoyed the first two Fantastic Four movies with Chris Evans. Yes, I don't know why people say they don't like them. I thought they were okay. They weren't perfect, but I think they worked for what they were. I think Tim Story actually did something kind of interesting. And the casting was great. I mean, maybe they went too funny at times, but it worked. I thought it was okay. I mean, they were the early days, weren't they? Manuel Mayo, I think Black Adam is going to be huge because it actually has potential. And also The Rock being in it is going to help a lot. Yes, I think The Rock should, I mean, Black Adam should be a really huge movie. But it is DC, and you never know. Andrew at 108 XX, which do you prefer, the Fantastic Four or X-Men? Well, in terms of films, I have to go to Bryan Singer's first two X-Men movies, which are far superior to the Fantastic Four movies. Henrik, evening all. What was that about Aquaman 2 leaks? I don't know. Well, that was a while back. That was like five streams ago. You'll have to check out that video. Basically, what that was all about is it was leaked that Aquaman will have a baby in the Lost Kingdom movie, and that Amber Heard is only in 10 minutes of the movie, and they're the leaks. Disinferno, why Riddler was out Gotham? Why Riddler wash out Gotham? Well, I don't know what his mentality was. Maybe he was purposely trying to create a no man's land situation. Welcome to Movies TV Mad Live. I'm Mick, your host with the most. We have 6 viewers. We have 6 viewers, 6 likes. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do. We have a poll. Check it out. Manrick Mayo, I think the Batman is teasing the Call of Owls because Gilson and Falcone were refusing to expose a bigger threat in Gotham. That's true. The Court of Owls could be coming, and that would be a great idea. And no one's going to do it any better than Matt Reeves. So I'm glad potentially he could do it. Android 118XX, what do you of the actor that played Abomination in Incredible Hulk? He was really good villain before he turned Abomination. Yes, he was great. He really worked. He's a great actor, of course. He's been in a couple of Quentin Tarantino films. He was in Pulp Fiction as well. Really good actor. And I agree, he did play a good human version of that villain. Henrik, Tim Roth. Thank you, Henrik. I forgot his name as well. That's right, Tim Roth is a brilliant actor. And he did a very good job with that character. Right, let's give the poll a final reading before I sign off. The Batman 2, Batman Arkham, 33%. Mr. Freeze wins with a whopping 67%. So well done to those people who voted. Maybe Matt Reeves will use totally different villains in the sequel. Henrik, I loved his character. Hope he can return. Or is he in the She-Hulk show? Yes, he's going to be in the She-Hulk show. And he did play, he played the Abomination character in, what's it called? The one with I forgot what it's called now, but he was in one when he was fighting. What was the one with the guy, the karate guy? Shang-Chi, that's right, thank you again, Henrik. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, yeah, he was in that one. But not as a normal person, as Abomination, because Abomination was in that movie. Android 118XX, would you want the Joker to be the main villain for the sequel? I prefer him to be the main villain in the final stages of Matt Reeves' Batman franchise. He may never be the main villain. He may be a supporting character in all these different projects on HBO Max and in the movies. That's probably what his Joker will become. I'm going to read out one more comment and then I'm going to bid you all good night. It's been a great live. We've had some conversations. We set up a brand new DC live action universe. We talked about different things. It's been great. Of course, I will be back tomorrow for the DCEU Daily in the morning. And I'll be back tomorrow evening, as usual, with Movies TV Mad Live, where we continue this type of conversation. Henrik, they have scrapped Legends and Catwoman. You mean Batwoman? What's next? Well, yeah. I think, Henrik, we can say that Arrowverse is pretty much dead. I mean, we may get that Gotham Knights show. Let's see if they green light it. There's still Superman and Lois, but they're treating the rest of Arrowverse like an embarrassing old uncle. Don't blame them, because that's what it is. Batwoman fans are very angry. There's not many of them, so it's not a big deal. But this was going to happen. They've lost $1 billion Netflix deal as well. And Netflix are in trouble as well, by the way. They keep on cancelling lots of stuff. They're in financial meltdown. And I think that Rebel Moon could be affected by this. Netflix are in so much trouble. I mean, Legends went on for 6 seasons. The first season was okay. Once Rip Hunter left, once he left, that was it. Android 118XX. Why is Netflix in trouble? They are in financial ruin, meltdown. They're cancelling multiple shows constantly. They just cancelled something mid-production. That's unheard of for any studio or broadcaster to cancel anything mid-production. They're in financial ruin. That's why they were making excuses a few weeks ago why they're losing subscribers. And how this is why they want to punish people for sharing passwords. What they don't realize is those people who use other people's passwords are viewers. They're watching your platform. And those people, once you tell them they can't share passwords, they ain't going to sign up anyway. You ain't going to gain those subscribers. I reckon Netflix could go bankrupt. I've said this so many times now, no one was listening. I think they could go bankrupt within the next 6 months. Henrik, yeah, they just made a mockery of that character. Season 1 was amazing. Also liked season 2, but then I stopped after Rick left. Yeah, well, Rick was already a special guest star before he even left. The whole plan was to get rid of him. Apparently, the actor didn't want to do it anymore. But isn't it convenient who became the captain? Not that she didn't play a good captain. Not that Katie isn't a great actor. But we all know what they were doing. So, yeah, the first season I liked. And this was typical of Arrowverse. This has been Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. Android 118XX. Why are they on financial ruin and losing subscribers? Netflix is the biggest streaming service and people still go on it. People are using it, Android 118XX, but they're in trouble. Look, there's been a streaming war for some time. While they were just using other people's content, it was fine. Then the studios and the networks started copying their pattern and taking their stuff back off of them. So they started doing all these originals, but the originals is not giving them enough subscribers. So they're losing out to HBO Max and Disney Plus and Paramount Plus. There's a lot of competition out there, my friend. And people, working class people, can't afford to subscribe to every streaming service. Basically, the first victim of the streaming war is Netflix. And I predict bankruptcy within 6 months. Probably a bigger studio will buy them. It's going to be very, very interesting. When you're cancelling things mid-production, you know there's something wrong. Android 118XX. I feel the same, my friend. So until we see each other again, goodbye. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Thank you for the support, everyone. Thank you for coming in for this hour and 14 minutes. It's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying these lives. I'll be back tomorrow morning with the DCEU Daily. Hopefully we've got some juicy breaking news to get chatting about. So until I see you tomorrow, see you later, Henrik. Later, Gator. See you later, Henrik. Thank you very much, everyone.